Welcome to another Arkansas Wallman Survival. We're going to make us an old Depression pie using simple things that they had on hand during the Depression. First, we're going to put in our pie crust. That just barely fit. And I got to measure out my water. I believe it's one and a half cups. I gotta have that level. One. And a half cups. Now, get that level. Get it down here where you can see. We got our flour and sugar, and we're just going to.
It's a cup of sugar and 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour.
Yep. Well, I'll put the recipe down there, and you don't stir. You just kind of. I gotta get it level. Polly, she's after that bunny, ain't she?
There goes Pete.
Got us a rabbit race going. Back during the hard times of the Depression, this was a simple pie that many families had after a hard day's work. You don't stir, you just drizzle everything in. And then you let it chill after it cooks. It's going to have to cook for about an hour. But this is something that our grandparents would have, great-grandparents I should say, or great-great-grandparents. Alrighty. Now, what do I do with the vanilla?
It's right there in that.
Then you take your vanilla
And drizzle it.
and you just drizzle it.
And it's 2 teaspoons.
And it's 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And this is the good vanilla, ain't it?
That's some of Walwyn's friends brought me back from, I think, Mexico.
Then you take your butter,
I think there's 5 tablespoons.
5 tablespoons, and you just pinch it up in there. Max is wanting in on the race, ain't he? Alrighty. I think that's got on my butter. We're gonna put the old lid on. Now, I'm not gonna put it directly over the fire right now. But you know, about this pie here, uh, water pie is a classic recipe that comes from the Depression era. These tough times, families had to get creative with what they had on hand, and this pie is a testament to their resourcefulness. Its filling is made with only water, sugar, butter, flour, and vanilla extract, which is then baked into a flaky pie crust. Despite its simple nature, water pie is surprisingly flavorful and has a unique texture that is like custard. I'll scoot that over when my coals die down a little bit more. I got my cover in there for my pine and wood for when it rains out here. My hogs had got out and knocked my grill over. But we'll see you here in a bit. And we're just going to turn this every so often because I really don't want to burn my edges of my pie crust. My hens are laying their line. I guess they took me serious when I told them I better start laying there. I was going to have stewed chicken. You know, there's always been hard times, but people would make do with what they had, and they survived those hard times with their faith and family. I can remember my grandpa telling me stories of how he'd have friends come over, and one day they was having chicken hawk for supper, and his mama had told him that it was chicken. Well, one of the boys that come over said, "Well, I want a gizzard." Said, "That's my favorite part," and after he'd already ate some of it, well, great granny said, "Well," said said chicken hawks don't have gizzards. I miss hearing his stories. I'd sit up and listen to those stories with him while he watched Wheel of Fortune or something. And one time he said, back then my great great grandpa just had a mule, and if he wanted to go to way off to a town, He'd just get his saw out and cut a tree in the road, get somebody to stop, then he'd have them to take him to town if he got the tree out of the road. Wind's starting to get up. There's a cold front coming in. With some rain, much needed rain. I'm not going to add nothing else to the fire. I'm going to let them coals just die down as they are. And then later, if it's not too windy, I'm going to place a few on top. If not, I may have to put it lower. You always want to be safe when cooking outside, especially if we've had some rain, but it's still kind of dry. We sure need rain. You know, families was a lot thicker back then, and that's how they made it, with each other, helping one another. And that's why a lot of times folks like those had sometimes 7, 8 kids, because it took a big family to make it in the time that they was in. That was a lot of mouths to feed. And a lot of the clothes was homespun, but they survived all the same. That's why oftentimes the past is the key to the future, because it mirrors the past. And if we don't learn from our mistakes, we're doomed to repeat them. That wind has simmered down some, so I'm going to place a couple of these coals right on top. Well, get coals back over here. Get him, Polly. Another leaf is simmering over here. I think I got all the coals. Yeah, it's kind of hard to convert time with because they had in a 450 oven for 30 minutes. Then I think turn the heat down for another 30 minutes to 3 something, and then let it chill. But you know, a lot of folks, all they had to cook on was their wood stoves, and the if they didn't have a wood stove, they used the hearth in the chimney in the fireplace to cook on. So it's a skill we all need to learn because you may not always have an oven, conventional oven to cook on. Something power outage, you know, the storms seem to be getting worse, and the earthquakes and stuff like that, and you may not have the luxuries of cooking on an indoor conventional oven. So it's a skill to learn. You know, Scripture tells us in the end times that things are going to get bad. So if you believe the Bible, then you need to start learning these skills. I know the food lines is increased. Sometimes they're backed all the way up to the highway. And people's just having a hard time with these Bidenomics. Got to keep an eye on the time. It sure smells good, I can tell you that. But people were more likely to help people back in those times, where today more people are so selfish and so bitter because they don't have the joy of the Lord as their strength. They don't love their brother as themselves. It's a whole different generation, and it's going to be a lot harder than what those in the past faced because they had family, friends, and faith. I just checked the pie and we added some more coals on top. It's looking pretty. Smells good too. You know, folks would sit around the fire and visit with one another. But in today's world, they keep you so busy, they don't want you together and visit and talk and think. They just want to keep you stressed. But you know, Jesus wants you to be blessed. So keep your eyes on Him, not on the things that are so depressing in this world because life's short and eternity is long. Enjoy what time you have here and learn. And that way you can learn skills to help yourself and others in times of need. We never know what tomorrow holds, but we know who holds tomorrow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those cooler temperatures. Yeah, the hogs has been out here and they got my grill leaning up against my lamp pole. Nice and peaceful. Simple way of life back then. People prayed hard, lived hard, but they lived. Our pie is just about ready to take off and let chill. Well, dadgummit. There we go. Try not to get ash in it. Of course, it ain't going to hurt you if you do. I'm going to set it down here lower. And just put a few more hot coals on the top. Oh, that smells good. You smell it, Patty? Of course you do. You got a better snozzle on you than I do, don't you? Just gonna put the coals over top. And we'll see you in a little bit. There's our pie, folks. I hope you can see it. We're going to let it chill. And that, folks, is our finished pie. Water pie. God bless you. And as always, thanks for watching Arkansas Wild Man Survival.